do, kings and queens, and welcome to another edition of Talk Back to Me podcast, powered by TheCore94. Make sure y'all check out the Houston Collective this week as well. That's the sponsor. We coming hard with it for all your smoke shop needs. You don't want to miss it. We got a special up next guest star in the building today. Brittany Hardeman is changing the way of internet streaming in the city of Houston right now. Let's give it up for her.
Hi, thank you guys for letting me come on. I appreciate it.
All right. And next we got the so talented and so ferocious Jelly. What you got for us coming up?
Today I have the city council elections in the city of Houston, specifically District D is what I want to talk to you guys about. And I also want to talk to you about these children who are still killing their friends at house parties, nonetheless. Like, you're supposed to be having a good time.
That's crazy.
Now, that's going to be a topic right there. And last but not least, we most definitely got the profound Ticket. What you got coming up?
You know the words, man. I ain't telling you shit to the end of the show. But other than that, man, let's dive in. Let's have a little fun. You dig me?
All right. This is going to be a real dope episode here. We're talking about today, Black business matters. Why do you think it matters to you? I'm going to start off with Brittany.
Why does black business matter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, black business matters for the same reason that any business does. It's an underserved community. Who better to know what products we need and then people inside of our community who's going to cater to just like the way we talk, the way we interact, the way we do business, if they're not in our group. Where it's like when we're going to other businesses, sometimes we're having to center ourselves around them instead of the business catering to us.
Yep. What about you, Jelly? Why you think so?
I feel like representation matters. How do we expect our children to grow up to be entrepreneurs and business owners if that's not what they see?
Facts.
But right now, black business is booming, and I'm all for it. So, yeah, that being said, I just want my child to see someone who looks like him in a position of power.
Amen to that. Ticket, what you think about it?
I mean, being black. Literally, both. But nah, being black, man, I think it matters. Like she said, you got to teach your kids, to have something of their own. I mean, it's always good. You can work for anybody, but when it comes down to it, man, you got to teach your kids to, have somebody of their own. Man, you want to work for your own. You want to know what it's like to have your own and then be able to assist somebody else, hire somebody else within your own ethnicity background that can work for you as well and teach them the same ropes. That's why black business matter to me.
That's right about that. Yeah, what I think on it as well is just not enough support going on right now. You got to think about it. How many people are actually supporting black business? We do have to ask that question, especially out here in Houston. You can go and get the same beauty products. I'm just going to use that for example from a Asian-owned beauty supply store. When it's a lot of beauty shops out here in Houston that's black-owned, and they don't even try. Jelly, I know you can relate to that one. Do you know about that?
So what I would say is black people have this family ties type of thing. And they feel like because, you my brother, you my sister, you supposed to give me a discount. I'm supposed to get it cheaper from you, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get disrespected and I'm going to pay top dollar for a half-ass product. Versus, I'm not even going to trust you to have, quality product because this is not who I know to have, the quality.
Exactly.
I feel like, these my people, but yeah, they con artists, they scammers, they're not really putting they all into their business, which is actually false. It takes a lot more to be a black business owner than it does any other race because they're just passed down through their generations. Their family comes together as a collective to make sure that everybody has a business, to make sure everybody has a plan in place. They do, it's like community pooling where everybody will put their money into a pot and 1 month somebody's going to get that money out of that pot. That whole pot goes to one family. You get your business up and running, you get it started, and then you put the next family on. And that's just how it goes.
True.
This is what they do inside of their household. They do this with their families. And we haven't mastered the art of group economics. Because, again, we have this crabs in a bucket syndrome going on.
True. Where
we can't stand to see the next person win, and we don't know how to wait our turn. It may not be your turn just yet, but who's to say that your plate isn't going to be larger? Who's to say you're not going to be the most successful out of the group? Yeah, they may have got their start and their kickoff before you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be more prosperous than you.
Gotta speak.
So, this is something that's, really matters to me. I am an entrepreneur, I am in business, and I don't want people to see me and feel like, I'm supposed to get a discount. Hell no.
Exactly.
You want to complain about the pricing for coloring and for extensions. Do you know how much the other people pay? Do you know how much they pay?
The other people inside of your hand. Huh?
To the inside of my hand. No, seriously. Do you
I
know
feel
how
you,
much
though.
they pay to get their services done, and they have zero complaints, and they tip well? Meanwhile, you come in here like, ooh, that's a little high.
That's true.
Such and such charge this, that, and the third. Why you can't bring your person down? Well, baby, go shop over there, because I'm going to charge what I'm worth, not what you think I'm worth. So sorry, sweetheart. And if you didn't think I was worth it, you wouldn't be in my face.
I feel that, though.
I mean, you know.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So let me ask y'all a question real quick. I know everybody been paying attention to this Jay-Z buzz going on. How y'all feeling about that, man? Like, Tigger, what you think, man? How you
Man.
feeling about this?
I mean, you got to look at stuff for what it is.
House nigga, field nigga,
Ooh.
steel nigga.
I mean, you got to look
Real
at stuff
niggas.
for... Well, she feel like I'm going to let her answer first.
No,
you know,
go ahead.
I'm saying, because, I mean, I want to...
Go ahead.
But no, I mean, you got to look at stuff for what it is, all right? First off, it's about money. You know what I mean? First and foremost.
Thank you.
People can look at the situation and say, like Eric Reed was talking to him and was like, oh, you cooning or whatever he telling him, but you still getting a check from the NFL, my brother. You still playing. You were out of the NFL. You still in the NFL right now. You still playing.
Yeah.
All these other people, Jay-Z not doing this, Jay-Z, but you watching football every Sunday. You ain't boycotting nothing. So how are you going to talk to somebody else he has a bigger plan. Jay-Z has never done nothing just to be doing something. He has a bigger plan. It's okay, let me get in here and rub in here, talk to you like I need to talk to you. And in 2 years, I want to own like 2 of these teams. And now when I own 2 of these teams, I want to bring some of my other brothers in here so they can own too, i.e. Meek, i.e. Rick. You know what I'm saying? Ross. Diddy, different people like that, because certain people don't have the means to step into that door the way
Right.
he does.
Yeah.
Why does he have the means? Because he's Jay-Z.
He's a business.
He's a businessman. He's not a businessman. He's a businessman. There's a difference. You feel me? So when you're looking into the situation, you got to look into it for deeper than what it is. Some people will tell you, oh, you doing this and you doing that. But when I go through and fight everything that I have to fight for us, and then I can put y'all on, I'm the one that went and took all of those bullets for you. So now you don't have to take them.
Right.
But a lot of our other people don't have to. They don't realize the situation for what it is. We live in a world, man, where it's not about us anyway.
Ignorant to their own cause.
You know what I mean? So when it's not about us anyway, we have to find a way to step around those barriers to help our people. And that's what he's trying to do, in my eyes. I might be totally wrong, but in my eyes, that's what I feel like he's trying to do.
Jelly, how you feeling about that one?
Okay, so what I will say is the way the meeting went, I don't know if this was supposed to remain private or not be publicized, and he's supposed to talk to them like that. You're supposed to say what you got to say, you know, to get in the door. And
Yeah.
I totally agree, Ticket. I feel the same way. I feel like, yeah, he's got to dance around a little bit and get these people a little shoulder rub. But at the end of the day, his fingers crossed behind his back.
Yeah.
Because he knows the platform is a lot bigger, and he's right. We've done the kneeling. Okay, what's next?
What's next?
Put a plan into action. You know what I'm saying? An idea without action is just a thought. Like, what are we going to do with it?
It's all right.
So we've done the kneeling. We've done the protesting, but not even really, because the NFL is still making money. You know,
Ain't gonna stop.
of course not. Of course not. Kaepernick jerseys sold off the shelves.
Exactly.
Stupid. It still benefits the NFL. What are you talking about? This is their merch. This is their propaganda. Like they know what they're doing. They're pushing this out, and they're gonna drag it out as long as they can, and they're gonna make it seem like. And they have the far rights and the far lefts so going at it. It's like, oh my gosh, you're
Say that
disrespecting
again.
America.
She said
Oh
the
my
far
God.
rights and the far lefts.
I'm serious.
I like that.
I'm serious. It's like, oh my gosh, you're disrespecting America and everything we stand for. You're disrespecting our flag and our national anthem and blah, blah, blah. Okay, pause. Now, let's take a step into what the issue is really about. The issue is really about police brutality. This is about African Americans not being treated fairly. And if you do not see a problem with this, you are a part of the problem.
Fact.
And you're saying, oh, they're not standing for the national anthem. Do you realize the whole second verse of the national anthem is about slavery?
The whole second verse.
I don't know. I don't know if people like pay attention to that. You only hear the first part, you know, land of the free, home of the brave. Boom. Okay.
No, they ain't paying
But-
attention because they giving what's fed
And
to
it was
them.
written in the middle of a war, mind you. It was written in the middle of a war where African Americans were put on the front lines to take the initial bullets and the initial charge. So once they die, then we can fight.
I.e. in what I just said, right? Somebody got to go in and take those bullets
Somebody's
before
gotta
for
take
the next
bullet.
person to have.
Exactly.
And that's just what
But
it is.
this time, we have a black person taking them for black people
Exactly.
versus a black person taking them for white people to profit off of our backs. So with that being said, people be more open-minded and use your mind. I'm not saying sit there and just guess and feel like, oh, well, don't take everything so personal. Everything is a business. Yeah. Everything is a business. Everything is strategically planned. This man's wife, his woman, is doing a formation tour with the Black Panthers at the damn Super Bowl. And you mean to tell me this man gonna go in there and have a meeting with these people and say, well, you know, fuck what they talking about. I'm just trying to get the money. No. He has money. He has money. The man is so wealthy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because his whole thing, I mean, and not to cut you off, apologies, his whole thing is ownership outright. If you ever listen to Jay-Z, period, he doesn't want to half own anything. He doesn't want to split ownership. I mean, even when he came with the Nets, that's why he kind of got out of the situation because of what it was. You know what I'm saying? His whole thing is ownership outright. If I can own this outright, I can put my folks on. You know what I mean? I can put my people on. If I can own this outright, then now you can't tell us shit. You know what I mean? Because, like, they used to say, I don't even know the saying all the way, but you know, one finger doesn't really do anything, but a whole fist will make a mighty blow. You know what I mean? Like, so if I can bring in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 people with me, i.e. Nipsey Hussle, what he was doing, you know what I mean? RIP. But at the same time, it's more of what are you trying to do and what are you actually doing? A lot of people try to do. That was a start with the kneeling, like you said. Yeah. But now what are you actually doing? Yeah, because who else going to go in there and sit down? Who else can even get that meeting? You know what I mean? That's the question. Who else can who can get that meeting? I don't know another rapper. I don't know another entertainer. Eddie Murphy couldn't even get that meeting. No. Martin can't get that meeting. Kevin Hart probably can't get that meeting. It's a lot of people that can't get that meeting. Jay-Z can get that meeting because that's what his status is.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it goes back to what Jolie's saying about representation matters, because as soon as you see, it's like we're still blinded about what we think we can do. And as soon as you see somebody do it, it sparks a light in you like, I can do that too. So now you have one black guy owning, you know, a team. It's going to be more that want to own teams. And when you go into those meetings and we're talking about the whole NFL and we have all these black team owners, now we can really change the way the players are treated. But you can't do that from the outside. That's the same thing we have in politics, where black people always want to roll to the Democratic Party and we don't have anybody on the Republican Party, so the Democrats can do whatever they want because we're blindly loyal. And then the Republican, you know, it don't matter what we do, y'all aren't going to vote for us. So let's go for the people who know going to vote for us.
Exactly.
That's the problem we always have.
When you could really be more so on the libertarian side. I mean, you don't have to be blue or red.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. Like, your views can be right in the middle, and there is someone who represents that. But you have to put those people in office, which is why I was going to speak about this as far as our city council elections go. Because you cannot say you want things to change in your community if you're doing nothing about it. You don't know who you're voting for. You're going in and just blindly voting, okay, well, I'm a Democrat, so I'm doing all Democrat. No, brother.
And one of them Democrats might be the biggest.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You need to look at people's backgrounds. You need to know what they stand for. You need to know their positions on the things that matter to you.
Exactly.
You complain about your children's education. You complain about their food. You complain about everything going on in your area. You complain about the potholes. Okay, so what are you doing? Who are you putting in office to change this? What is their stand on this? Do you know?
Because that person might not give a damn about a pothole.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I do, though.
And they don't give a damn about what your kids eating at school either, because their kids are in private school.
Exactly.
And their kids are getting Chick-fil-A for lunch. Meanwhile, yours out here getting, I'm sorry, Michelle Obama. But that meal plan, that just ain't it, Jack.
But on top of that, like, okay, so we don't have enough black business owners. We're at work when those decisions are being made. We can't show up to vote on what our kids are going to get to eat and all that.
Exactly.
So when we change that, we can. It's bigger than just owning a business or I want to make a lot of money.
Exactly.
I have that time that I need to make change.
Definitely. And voting day should be something that is nationalized. Like, we should take that day off so people have the opportunity to go vote and get their voices heard. Because there's so many people who can't make it out to the elections. They can't make it out to the polls because I have to be at work. I don't get paid to take this time off. I can't take this day off or I'm fired. I can't go and voice my rights and go, express myself at the polls. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But we also got to get on those asses of the ones that I don't got transportation. I ain't got no ride.
No. We got
transportation.
What you saying?
You got transportation from your homegirl to go to the weed store.
We got buses.
To the weed man. To the liquor store. I'm just being honest, man. I mean, I'm just, I'm saying,
but
I'm
to be
kicking it like
real,
it's kicked.
there are so many resources out there for everyone. My mom does a lot of community service at the Sunnyside Multi-Service Center. And she literally drives in her car and goes and picks people up She has
right
like a
across the
really
street from where the
like
old,
a 16-passenger van. She goes and picks people up across from the Fiesta right on Cullen.
I
Yeah.
used to get my taxes done over there.
Yeah, so she goes and picks people up and brings them to the polls so they can vote, and then takes them back home. And she does it over and over again
That's
to make sure
beautiful.
people can vote, because there's a lot of elders who don't have their transportation. There are a lot of youth who don't realize their vote matters. They sit at home like, yeah, whatever, this ain't got shit to do with me. It has everything to do with you, stupid. It has everything to do with you.
But I mean, that's why everything, man, they get mad at the people who step out on faith and try to do something different, right? Like, you get people that talk about LeBron James all the time. I don't give a damn what nobody say. And it ain't just because I like his basketball game. The man is a godsend. When you look at it, he didn't, for one, built a school.
He's a humanitarian.
You know what I'm saying? For you leave a situation, and that's why I say you can't say he's not great. Every situation he left, they went downhill. You know what I mean? When he come back to the situation, they go back uphill. He win in Cleveland, do everything he's supposed to do. He goes to L.A. It's not about, I mean, he going to win still, but it's not about wins and losses right now. He went as a business. You know what I mean? Like, let me get these movies going. Let me get this school built. Let me get so much done. Like, if you look at his team, he didn't just make sure I got a lot of hagglers around me taking money. Everybody around me is going to be great at something. Okay, you a chef, let's do that. Okay, you a manager, let's do that. Okay, you a business owner as well. You might sell cars, let's do that. Everybody around him is going to be owning whatever it is they doing. And now when you build a school like that, you're not giving nothing but kids hope. You know what I mean? You're giving them more hope in a community where it wasn't none before. You know what I mean? Like, growing up, when we grew up in Hiram Clark, there wasn't no boys and girls communities or nothing like that. Like, that's why I always wanted to put one back. It wasn't no boys and girls community where you go, and if it is something, you go to a park and play basketball and do something different. But no, you need more black owners to come back into that neighborhood and open something nice and huge to where when they're going, okay, before you can touch a basketball, we're going to go over here. We got agriculture. We got this. We got that. We got a bunch of different things, because a lot of people that come out of a neighborhood, they feel like my way out is selling dope or playing sports. You know what I mean? One or the other. So one or the other, I got to figure it out. If I ain't selling dope, I'm going to be balling. If I ain't balling, I'm hustling. But there's a lot of different ways, man. You could be an owner in whatever you do. I mean, you can lay sheetrock and be your own boss.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of different things that you can do.
But people don't want to live mediocre lives.
But they
don't
do.
want to live okay lives, and you still living them. But they feel like, okay, boom, I'm going to go play ball. Everybody doesn't get to play ball.
True.
And what you fail to realize is the
One out of a
minute you're
million.
injured, your entire career is gone.
Yep.
Unless you've already built a legacy. Unless you've already reinvested your money. Unless you found another business to make your money grow. Make your money work for you, sweetheart. Let your money make money while you sleep.
Amen to that.
Because while you're sitting out there busting your ass on the field and getting treated like a slave, you know what I'm saying? These people are profiting off of your hard work. And the minute you're injured and can't perform to their standards, you're discarded like a piece of trash. And I'm so sorry, sweetheart. That's why so many people end up back impoverished, because you have no financial literacy. You don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to make your money work for you. You don't know how to invest, and you're not patient. You are in such a rush to get fast money that you don't understand. This is a marathon, sweetheart. It's not a foot race.
It could take forever.
Amen.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I look at it like we all say we have our own brand. Like with MCing, that's my own brand. All right.
What do you MC?
I mean, I've been doing grooves forever, for years. Damn near every club in Houston you can think of. Rapped for forever. Been signed twice. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different areas of touching in that situation. Now working on different stuff with writing music, writing episodes for like a TV show that I'll be presenting to other companies coming soon. But I mean, there's a lot of different things that a lot of people are looking to and be like, man, you still doing such and such? You don't realize that every time you do a spot or do a place, there's somebody else listening to you.
Amen.
It don't mean that it ain't came today, or it might not be 5 years, it might be 7, might be 8. But you might get that break in year 10 when somebody said, man, you've been doing this for a minute and you're pretty good. I want to sponsor you and such and such, such. Let's go do this. And it happens. But you have so many people, like you just said, oh, you ain't getting it right now. It ain't coming right now.
They wanna
then it
rush
ain't going
it.
to come.
Yeah.
But then let's say, okay, soon as you stop believing in me, and at year 11 and a half,
Bingo.
when I come in that, I mean, what movie was that? I was watching some movie on BET where it was the same way. A guy was trying so hard. He kept trying to invent this machine.
That was
he burnt the house down.
Alimony.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
did so much. And I'm not saying that he was a great guy either, but he tried so hard in doing what he was doing, and to where it finally came about. But then when it finally came about,
Thought he was owed something.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I mean, things happen when they're supposed to happen, man. I mean, you can't press anything. All you can do is put yourself in the right position to win. and you continue to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, you just practice what you preach. You keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, you have to. Most
And grow
definitely.
your mind.
That's
And
it.
it's
Water
crazy
it.
how opportunities happen. Like, okay, so you guys all know we're moving to the new spot. I'm really excited about it. But how we got the opportunity, I think this is really what's going to take the station to the next level as a whole. But it's from somebody who knew us from year one and watched us consistently do this. See how he has artists coming into his studios. They're talking about the Core 94. And that's when, reaching out, he's like, man, I've been looking for something. This is perfect. Y'all come over here. Look what we building.
Winning.
Just off of time and longevity and staying consistent. Nothing changed. Just keep going.
That's what's up.
That's true to that. Yeah, that's the same thing with, like you said, you was watching this from the jump regarding the show, and consistency was everything with us. We didn't want to just be another, show out here. We wanted to actually educate the community. We actually wanted to do something bigger. And, you don't know who's watching. Like Tyler Perry said, a lot of people talk crazy about him saying he's a coon and all this type of other stuff. But you got to think about this man is literally laying a platform for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation and generations to come just off of what he's doing, just off of leading by example. Rather an icon, be an inspiration. And that's what you got to remember
Facts.
about. You got to remember that. What are you doing this for? Why are you building this business? Why are you building this platform? Is it for financial gain or is it for spiritual gain? You really got to ask yourself those questions.
And the thing is, like, people always want to cater to how people are talking negative about someone in a certain position. It's always the person that's in a worse position who's saying the negative things.
Always.
Like,
Never somebody who's doing better
Rick Ross
than
said it
you with an
yesterday, didn't he?
opinion.
Boy,
It's
that
never.
was
Rick Ross just said it yesterday on the Breakfast Club. He say,
If anything, they give constructive criticism.
right.
man, he said it's not hatred. He said it's not hatred if I'm watching you in a position of power and I'm in the same field you in and I want that and I want to come get that. That's not hatred. He said I'm looking at you in that fashion like I want that. He said, but somebody that's not even in your field, that don't do nothing you do every day,
How can you learn
but you
from that?
jump up and then you hate me, that's hatred.
Right.
You know what I mean? I posted yesterday, I say, man, money don't make you a boss. I say, what makes a boss to me is how many people have you helped succeed? What's your legend out here?
I told
You know what I
you.
mean? You can die tomorrow, and your legend out here can be bigger than somebody else that you thought was a boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what makes you, like, how many people do you, that's how I look at it. How many people do you help succeed? My brother's a film guy. How many people have I passed to him? All right? Brittany's doing the Core 94. How many people am I going to come and say, hey, man, you go to Herb if you need to do some internet radio? All right? Jill do the makeup. How many people can I pass to her and say, that's what it's about to me, man. It's helping other people do the things that they need to do. It's not always just about you. Because sometimes you might help somebody else, and that's helping you in the long run.
And it doesn't cost anything. Like, I go
Exactly.
get my eyebrows done. I spent $5, $10. Found out it's a lady at the station who do eyebrows. She's like, I want to do them for free. She didn't even, and she did them. And I'm like, oh, what? They're not done right now. But I'm like, oh, they're fine. I'm going to, from now on, instead of paying the nail lady, I'm going to pay you. You right here in house. I'm not losing any money out of my pocket, but I'm giving something back. And that's
Straight
what
up.
it takes. It's like being aware of what people do. How can you help? Wanting to help.
Straight up.
Yeah, that is true right there. And another thing we have to do too as parents, we have to make sure that we're raising our kids so they can realize what it takes to be. Because you got to think about it. When I was at TSU, I went there, I graduated, got my communication degree and stuff of that nature. But they wasn't teaching us, even at TSU, a black historical college, and quote me on this, please. They was not teaching no children, no kids how to own our own business.
They probably didn't
wasn't.
know.
But how can you
High
not
schools
know?
either.
But how?
And this is what you're
How?
teaching. This is the major.
High schools either.
But how? But
But
a
Ross
black
said, I learned
historical
algebra.
college.
I learned algebra, science,
Yeah.
history. That shit don't help me
That
get
don't
damn
do
check.
In the real world.
In the real world, don't help
And I
me get
say
a check.
this all the time. Why are you not teaching children how to balance their checkbook?
Thank you.
Why are you not teaching them how to
They do it
file their
parallel
taxes?
ISD.
Why are you not teaching them how
Now
to
it's-
invest?
how long they been doing it?
Like what?
Years.
Pearland ISD, my uncle, I went to
they do it now,
HISD.
yeah.
He was
Teach
going to
them how to trade in
Pearland.
the
He
stock
was a year
market or
under me. They made all those kids go out and get checking accounts and stuff like that. They had it throughout the whole school. That's how they had to pay for their lunch. Like, they taught them these skills. It was implemented
That's
into
real.
how they had to live.
Because I'm telling you, I went to Clark High. You know what I'm saying? I went to Madison. It was, don't get me wrong, we had some great teachers. Dr. Reed, Mr. Williams, Ms. Foots. I can name a bunch of them off the rip. They were great teachers because they cared about your future.
Yeah.
But they would pull you to the side and tell you, hey, you fucking up. You know what I mean? You need to do yada, yada, yada. Make sure you know yada, yada, yada. But that wasn't in the curriculum to come and say, hey, we need to teach you how to, like you say, balance a checkbook. We need to teach you the proper steps and the paperwork that you need to own your own business.
What's
A
it called?
LLC, a DBA. Like, a Roth IRA. Wasn't nobody teaching that.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? It was basically to keep your hands off of a woman, stay from being fast, play ball, stay out of trouble, don't get in no trouble, and do the best you can in a neighborhood where you like are deemed to fail anyway. You know what I mean?
But we waste so much of our teachers' time that could be used towards that. Like, I know a lot of teachers, and they have to spend all this time just rewriting the curriculum every day, writing these lessons plans that are already printed. Have like that time that they spend writing those lesson plans, that could be going towards financial literacy. That could be going out to them, making connections with businesses. Like, I want to bring my kids here to see your business. That could be used to be creative instead of being robots. And that's the problem. We get so buckled down with the bureaucracy of stuff that we don't have time to be innovative. I think that's the best thing about having black business owners. We're so creative.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens when we're in charge, and it's not a knock on anybody.
It's magical.
But it's just
winning.
It is.
It's just winning. And you touched on that earlier, and I want to touch on that too. Man, you look at, like, again, where I grew up. I remember watching this house on Fuquay in the Beltway for years. It was a shack. And, like, a Mexican family just moved all their family in.
And built it up. It's right
And
there
it
on
went
the corner.
from, it's a shack, and it went to a 3-story house with patios on it.
Like,
But every
Yep.
time you pull over there, you see one F-150, another F-150, a GMC, and all they did was piece by piece by piece, and come to find out years later, somebody that went to school had stayed there. And he told me the rundown. He was like, man, look, we moved a couple of our family members from Mexico. We moved a couple more. We moved a couple more. Once we moved them, piece by piece, this person went out and got their own. This person went and got their own. Then when everything was over, the youngest one got the house. She got the house, finished from U of H because she finished with a degree, and she got the home and pays for it, and everybody else got all that they have and all that they need. But, again, they took their turn, they waited their turn.
Community
and
pooling.
But you can't do that in no house with us.
No,
You know why?
no.
Man, you put 19 black people in the house and see what the fight's going to be about. Man, who stole the milk? Who took my shirt? And it's sad to say that, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? And we have to get over that. Like, how long are we going to go beating each other down rather than helping each other? You know what I mean? Like, it's sad to see. It's some of your own family members. You can go do something. We could be doing this right now, and they'll be smiling. Man, y'all podcast the truth. He think he doing some
Nuh-uh.
shit.
Yeah.
That
nigga ain't.
I
Yeah.
see you doing your little. I literally just
Your
said
little
this. It
podcast.
pissed me off. People like, oh yeah, I seen your little podcast. Oh, I seen you doing your little show. Don't put little in front of nothing I'm doing.
Exactly.
Period. Don't
Yeah.
put little in front of
'Cause it's a
anything I'm doing
platform.
because that's demeaning, and you're not finna ever play with me. Okay.
But I would say
I
a lot of
don't
people
like
don't.
that.
A lot of people don't know because you do it jokingly. You don't even mean. You can be proud of somebody and still jokingly like I see a little show. It doesn't always mean that, but it takes you doing like you do and
To set it
telling
straight.
them,
Like, hey.
to open their eyes to the
Yeah,
power of
don't
words.
put little in front of nothing.
But that's
I'm doing
again,
because
that's our
you
culture.
keeping me in a box, and
Right.
I'm outside of that.
That's
You know
our
that
culture,
box is
man.
within me.
Chelsea
I'm
said
just
it
gonna
last
tell you
week.
that.
What did Chelsea say last week? Well, the week before when she was talking about how her grandma approached her brother.
Yeah.
And that hurt his feelings. You know what I mean? But that's our culture. They think that it's, oh, my mama did it. My grandma did
So it's
it.
okay.
My great grandma did it. It's okay. It's not always okay. You know what I mean? It's not always right to approach. You got to treat, with me coaching basketball as well, I can't talk to you the same way I talk to him or to her.
Yeah.
This person I might be able to go and say, man, you ain't doing shit. Get on your da-da-da. And they doing it. I might have to come to you and say, hey, man, I know you got 2 or 3 rebounds, but can I get 3 or 4 more?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different ways that you approach people. And to touch on the culture, ethnicity again, like, people put their stuff together and they do it right. Like, I look at Indians, Asians, Chinese, Pakistani, and they come here into the country and they have a mission.
Yeah, they do.
They come here, it's poor where I'm at, I'm broke where I'm at, I'm finna come, my credit gonna be right, I'm gonna get this loan,
Yep.
and I'm gonna bring everybody over. But then we as people get mad and say, they get a loan before us because they shit together.
Yeah.
You gotta get your shit together too to make sure that you're doing. I didn't learn that for a long time. I used to be like, if I ain't got no cash, then I must don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until you figure out later on in life, there's a lot of ways around it. It's a lot of white folks ain't got no cash.
Huh.
A lot of Indians, Asians ain't got no cash, but they credit is together and they doing what they got to do to start a business.
And then it's believing you have the time too.
That's
Like
it.
we don't always, grow up thinking. I can't tell you how many men I've heard. Well, they were boys then saying, "Oh, I know I ain't gonna live past 21." Well, when you have that mindset of you're not gonna live past 21, you're gonna live in a scarcity method with your time. What's the most money I can get right now? I don't have time to live for the long game because I'm just trying to get my mama a house before she's 21. Now you in jail, you 40, and you don't have the time anymore for real.
And you don't know what the hell to do.
Right.
And that's a lot of our community, man. You got people, like you say, sell drugs, do whatever, and they just like, fuck it. This is the lane I'm in, this is the lane I'm going to stay in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But who going to teach them different? You know what I mean? That's what we're
That's
here
the
for.
question. Who's gonna
That's what
teach
we're here
us?
for.
Yeah.
though,
And
man.
that's why black business matters. That's why black entrepreneurs matter. That's why black education matters. Everybody else is profiting because they make education a number one priority in their communities. They make this a priority in their families. Do you know how embarrassing it is for any other race to bring home a B to their parents? They be like, oh, hell no. Even an A-, they're like, what the fuck I'm going to do with a 90? She couldn't give me a 95? Like, no. Seriously, they stress about these things. Like, boo-hoo cry, turn red in the face, and are terrified to go home and present this to their parents. Meanwhile, our kids are like, shit, I got a D, I'm passing.
What they say, D's walk.
D's walk. You know what I'm saying? Our kids are like, I got a D, I'm passing. That's good enough. It's not good enough. You should never want to just be good enough.
Because even when they look at them jobs, when they look at them jobs, they look.
And that's what you don't understand. These people look good on paper. They look great on paper. Meanwhile, yours says, barely, average, a little below average, mediocre, and theirs is like outstanding, excellent, superb. Yeah, you satisfactory over here. That's not what you want to be. You want to be able to compete. You don't ever want to go into the fight half-assed, half-massed. You can't get into the fight and you're not prepared. You ain't did no training. You haven't even got your mind together. You're not physically ready for this.
Coming to the gunfight with a knife. Huh?
Exactly. And meanwhile, they over there with a whole archive. They ready. They like, whatever you going to bring, I got all the artillery. What you want to do? You have to put yourself in position to win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from or what you're used to being in the position you were set in. Step outside of that. Become more than what you already are and what you even think you could be. You need to be bigger than you, always.
Open your mind, too, though.
Yep.
I mean, because I'm 34 years old, be 35 in a couple days. But when it comes down to it, I ain't gonna lie, I'm stubborn as hell. I'm hard-headed, very. I get told that on the daily, by the way. But at the end, when it comes down to it, it's like, it's because you've been taught a certain thing. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get away from that. What you're taught is like, it's grit and teeth. But when it comes down to it, don't be afraid to learn something new. Because you learn, I mean, Jill younger than me, but I done learned some stuff from her already. Yeah. I done learned some stuff from you. I done learned some stuff from them. I mean, it's you can learn from kids.
Yeah. And I say this all the time.
You can learn from elders. You can learn shit everywhere that you turn. But a lot of people don't want to take that in. Now, that's what makes you a better person. How much information can you gather? You know what I mean? Gather it. That's one of the things, like I say daily, that I fight with. Because a lot of times, too, I'll be like, man, I've been out here doing this for forever. I know how this go, how that go. But then it might be a youngster that come and say, hey, man, OG, I know you've been doing it this way, but we do it like this now. And this the way the money come from streaming and whoop-de-woo. And I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? I've heard Dre say some stuff like, hey, man, the streaming, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I got to holler at you about that because I'm not on that. I'm on this. I'm looking at cash. You looking at something totally different. So don't be afraid to learn something either. You know what I mean? And that'll pick up your game and your knowledge as well.
Amen to that.
See, but the thing about it is, while you have to be open to learning, you also have to be open to teaching. Because if you know something and you know somebody else doesn't know it, share it. Yeah. And it's like, even with our elders, they're like, oh, you can't tell me nothing. Your child stand in a child's place. Well, grandmama, I'm trying to tell you, you don't know what you're doing. And if you just spread your fingers like this and make the picture bigger, grandma, versus you trying to be like, oh, let me put my glasses on. Where my glasses at? You know, I'm trying to make it easier for you.
That's my old man.
I'm trying to.
Well, I know how to do this shit. I just did the enrollment. Make it easier.
I'm telling you, I just did the enrollment for my mother online, enrolling her kids in school. And she's like, oh, I'm going to have to take a whole day off of work to go enroll these kids and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Mama, I can do this right here. I can upload any file you need to upload it. I can put them all in their schools that they need to be on. It's all a portal. It's right here in your face. And she's like, well, I don't know how to do that. You know, I be pecking when I'm typing. And I'm like, yeah, it's the digital age. It's the age of technology. It's the age of enlightenment.
I say you paying bills. My mama be like, we go to Fiesta and pay. We pay these bills at Foodorama. And I'll be like, Mama, get on your phone and you can pay this. Pay. I'm not doing it. I say, well, let me show you the app. I say, you ain't even got to go to their site. You can get the app and you can have it to where it automatically comes out. She be like, oh, that's so much better. And I ain't got to waste my time going up there. I say, because it's just, but you know, they're in their ways, though.
No,
you know
my dad's
my parents are older. So when they're in their ways, it's kind of like, hey, I'm sticking in these ways.
See, and that's ego, too.
Exactly.
That comes from, like she was saying about not listening to the kids, because those kids become adults, and you're still thinking of them as children that you didn't listen to. And now they're grown, and you're not listening. Like, my son, I learn from my son every single day. He's teaching me something, and then you get to watch, you know, the progress. Like, we started off just fun, we raced to the, from the parking garage to the house. That's our thing. And then now it's like, I won. And I told him, I'm like, I won. He was like, he's 3. He's like, I won yesterday. I'm going to win tomorrow. You know, and it just gave you a mindset like, okay, dang, I can take an L today. Because I know I had a win yesterday. I can win tomorrow.
Straight
and
up.
you can learn that just from talking to
Oh,
a
yeah.
3-year-old.
Win
You know?
and losses. Most definitely win and losses. Well, we most definitely are touching on some powerful topics right here with Black Business Matters. Make sure you check us out, hashtag Black Business Matters at the Talk Back to Me podcast Instagram for more information. We'll be back with a quick commercial break and a word from Jelly. Ear to the streets. This is Talk Back to Me podcast, y'all. All right, and we're back again from commercial break. This is Talk Back to Me podcast. Sponsored this week again is the Houston Collective. Make sure you check them out for all your smoke shop needs and accessories. We got a special word from Jelly. She been burning up the charts right now with these controversial topics. What you got for us on Ears to the Streets?
So, first, I just want to touch on these kids. Y'all, if y'all going out to have a good time, please just go out and have a good time. Like, leave it at that. There was a Snapchat party where people, like, send out an invite at the spur of the moment, and people just pop up at a certain location, and boom, party. 7 people end up shot. Like, 1 pop up at a hospital, 3 still at the party shot up. The gunman chased down a car, shoot up 3 more people. It's 1 girl in somebody's front lawn with her hand shot off. Like, you know, this is crazy. Y'all are kids. Y'all supposed to be having fun. Y'all are supposed to be being children. Since when did violence become the epitome of who y'all are and what y'all do? But outside of that, I would like to speak about the Houston City Council elections, and specifically District D, because this is a community where I grew up. This is the Sunnyside area. We have so many shortcomings in our community, and a lot of people don't understand that it's because of the people who are in office that are inactive on our behalf. So I feel like to have the best representation for us, we have to get someone who is one of us or somebody who's already doing the work. That brings me to Jeremy Darby. He is known as Pop Darby on Instagram. I wouldn't say he's a social influencer. He's more of a community activist. He's already doing community cleanups. He's already implementing programs into addicts and Woodson. Like, he's already serving the community. So why not put him in a position where he can do more for us and for our children? Because it's not many people that actually care about what's going on with these kids. I hate to say it. They don't give a damn because it's not their kids. Their kids don't go to school out here. Their kids don't, get treated the same way yours do. They don't have the same education that yours do. They can afford better. But that does not mean yours should suffer because you can't afford it. Or you can't, provide better for them. Yeah. This should already be the standard. Excellence should be the standard. You shouldn't teach these children to be mediocre. But parents, also make sure your children understand that education is key and make sure they want to learn. There's so many kids in these schools who don't value the education that's given to them freely. But once you start to pay for it, they're going to have a completely different mindset. Take advantage of what's given to you. Take advantage of what's put in front of you and take the initiative. So, anybody want to chime in?
Ooh, go ahead, take it. Ooh.
Like she say, take the initiative. I mean, what we talked about that earlier, we kind of touched on, like, knowing who's running, knowing who's doing what. You got to kind of research it, but a lot of people don't research who's doing anything significant for any neighborhood or who's running or who's doing whatever. You have to research and know what people, like, what is their purpose and what is their goal if they are in office. You have to really, like, pay attention to them and look into them to see if they bullshitting or if they for real as well. Because some people will bullshit you just to get your vote. You know what I mean? And once they get in there, nothing is happening. I mean, and that's like like a lot of stuff that we were discussing earlier. I can care less about a lot, but I really be, like, looking into the youth. Like, who's looking into the youth? Who's looking to make the schools better? Who's looking to clean up a neighborhood? Who's looking to put things into a neighborhood to help people flourish? That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking into. And when I vote, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what sold me on Barack when he was there. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people was like, oh, because he's black. No, I really paid attention to him. You know what I mean? I paid attention to what he was saying, what he was trying to do. And some of the people after that, when I was listening, I was like, I don't get nothing from them or them. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. That's like going to church and listening to a pastor. God, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But that's like going to church and listening to a pastor. I get that from my mom all the time. But like, but you're just supposed to go. If I can't get nothing from that pastor, it's hard for me to keep going and keep listening. It's just that simple. But I mean, that's my take on it. You know what I mean? Like, before we even get into all that, man, you got to pay attention to who the people are and see what it is. Like, look them up. You know what I'm saying? See their past, see their history. Have they been in any kind of bullshit, any shenanigans, any, you know what I mean? Like, you got to see that. Because you can come in and say, oh, they said they want to make candles smell better. And you fall for that. And they come out, they don't give a damn about no candles. They just needed your vote. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, you have to really look into it and pay attention to what it is that you're putting your attention into.
A lot of people don't understand that when you get in these positions, it gives you a financial backing. And with that financial backing, you can really push your true agenda. We don't know what you've been doing in the community beforehand. I've never seen your face out here except on your bulletins when you trying to get elected. So I'm just trying to see, like, what's supposed to entice me to vote for you?
Who are you?
Who the hell are you?
Where have
Who
you
are
been?
you?
Facts.
Where you been? Where you come
You just
from?
popped up.
Because I want to see somebody who grew up in my community. I want to see somebody who thrived from where I'm struggling to come out of. Again, representation matters. I need to know that there is more for me as a child out of the South Park area than hustling, you know, drug dealing, scamming, and playing ball or laying on my back somewhere.
Dough kicking. All
I need to know that I can be prosperous. I need to know that my voice matters. I need to know that I can effect change. So, yeah.
Brittany, how you feel about that?
As far as which part?
The whole thing. How you feel about it?
I guess
He said the whole thing.
the part that stood out to me was she was just like when you were like, kids need to take the value of education while it's still free. I think with that, our education has to do better to make itself valuable to kids. Like a lot of our kids grow up
Adapt.
so smart that they're bored, and when they're bored, we're going to get in trouble. It ain't nothing else to do but get in trouble. If you tell me to sit here and read something that I've already read, anything I do outside of reading something that's boring to me is technically making trouble. And so,
Exactly.
you know, my sister made this point of, when I was a kid, I got in trouble because I made this little game where people answer innocent questions, and then it flips it into dirty questions. And you know what I'm saying? So it'll be like, do you comb your hair? And they put yes. And then next, you know, do you do this, do that? You know, we ain't
Don't say it. We on hey, we live in here.
We gonna play the game.
But you know, of course, I got in trouble for that, right? Because
Yes.
you're looking at it, and you're like, nah, this is inappropriate for your age. You're a woman, blah, blah. Look at the innovation behind that. Look at, okay, you creating games. Let's try to see if we can get you into a game in school. We need representation inside of the schools that look at us, that can see our potential and make us want to do better. And then pay those people properly and don't do administration on them so much that they don't care about their job anymore.
Exactly, because they have to follow your structure. They teach these children every day, so I know their learning curve. I know their abilities. I know what they're capable of. I know what entices them. I know what they like. So why is it that you won't let me do what I need to do to make sure these children can do more than just pass a fucking test?
And don't
Because
be
that's all you're
afraid.
teaching my child to do is be a zombie, and you want my baby to be a computer. You want my baby to be able to pass this test, so you feel like you're doing something. But I need my child to be able to prosper in the real world and thrive in, you know, and be a upstanding member of our community outside of school. All you care about is their behavior. I care about, okay, when you leave here, what are you taking with you?
And then on top of that, you're training them to be followers, and then they go to college where they have to go, and then they have to completely change the
finally
way
get
they
free.
learn. They have to change the way they learn, though. How many kids do we lose between freshman year because they're not used to freedom? Whereas if we grow them up, teaching them, no, you need to be responsible. This is what you get. You're free to learn how you want to learn.
And you ain't
then you don't
never
have to make that transition when you
Exactly.
get to
Because
college.
when you get to college, it'd be
Exactly.
tough. Like a lot of times you get there and they give you a syllabus.
Yeah.
And tell you what
And they
this
tell
is
you
what
what's
you're
going on.
following. And because I've had my niece just finished from U of H. You know, shouts out to my niece.
Yeah.
Great student. You know what I mean? Finished with super honors. But when she first got there, she was like, shit, like when I was in school, you know what I mean? At the same time, they used to kind of remind you, hey, you got a quiz, you got a
Yep.
test. When you get to college, that ain't happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to grow up and you got to figure it out. And that's why we say, hey, why can't you teach kids something different that'll prepare them for the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's two things to touch on. I was listening to a Indian professor, and I don't remember his name, but this Indian professor, he was talking. He was like, we teach kids, and the way we teach them in our country is we let them stand up and move around and do different things because they don't get so stagnant with sitting down and becoming bored. And that made a lot of sense to me because I was like, well, damn. You kind of learn stuff, like a lot of times when you're moving around and you're doing stuff and you're seeing different things, you learn in that fashion. When you're sitting down, I graduated at 16 from high school, right? Yeah. I moved from Midland, Odessa. I was born here, moved to Midland, Odessa, moved back. When I was in Midland, Odessa, I took English, Spanish, algebra in middle school. But I got here, they were teaching it in high school. So when I got to be a freshman, I was really a sophomore. And then they came to me my junior year and was like, hey, you can kind of graduate early. And a lot of my partners was like, nerd ass. And I was like, it's not so much of a nerd. The shit that we were learning in Midland, Odessa, y'all were just learning in high school. But it's a certain way of teaching and it's a certain way of doing things. Why? Because the Midland, Odessa culture and population, it's black people, but it's a lot of whites and Hispanics. Yeah, so they're teaching you how to get ahead and to figure out the things that you need to do in life. You know what I mean? Like when you get here, it's just kind of like, hey, did you finish? You know what I mean? Like you say, D's walk. But you gotta find ways to push and don't be afraid to challenge these kids. Because half of the kids that you think don't know nothing, they know more than you probably. You know what I mean? Like my daughter's 6 and she can work this phone better than I can. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can cut some stuff on the TV and I come in and she was watching the Fire Stick. I said, how'd you get on there? Oh, I take the other remote and I put it on HDMI 3. And then when I put it on there, I go to the children's zone because you told me not to look into the regular one. Like, they're that smart. You know what I mean? Already at 6. So if they can learn that much at that age, I mean, you can start teaching them, man, you can start teaching them out the womb. Because kids pick up stuff for pay, but it's what you give them. You know what I mean? It's what you give them. And it's just that simple. You can't sugarcoat it and be like, oh, well, I'm not going to put too much on them. I don't want to do this. Man, challenge them kids. Them kids are way more intelligent than what you think they are.
I was joking about it. Whatever, I don't care about saying it. I didn't learn left from right until I was 14. I remember being in I remember being in kindergarten. I remember the lady walking in with 2 hands, and it was vividly. And she put this on the table, and I looked up and I said, oh, that looked like it's about to be stupid as hell and not paying attention. And now when I look at it, like, that's when you didn't learn left from right then. So I made sure, like my son, he's 3. And when we're going, which way I go left or right? Left.
I do the same thing.
Right. And it's just whatever like you said, they're little machines. So what you put in is what you're going to get out. But when we talk to them like they're kids or we talk to them like they're stupid or we don't explain thoroughly, they don't learn. I feed my son everything. If he asks me why, I'm going to go from beginning to end on why.
Break it down.
And I teach him to use his deductive reasoning. Like, I want you to use your context clues. I want you to understand that you have a mind of your own. You are nobody's puppet, and nobody is your master. I'm your mother, and it's my job to nurture you and care for you and teach you, but it's your job to think for yourself. So when I'm talking to him, we hold big boy conversations.
You're supposed to.
Well, I don't do baby talk with you. How do I expect your vocabulary to expand if I'm steady goo gaga and you? Like, I can't baby you. I have to talk to you like the adult I want you to be in the future. I need you to be able to hold an intellectual conversation, and he can at 4. He'll say, wow, Mom, that's interesting.
It'll shock you.
Mom, isn't that strange, Mom? Or that's a bit creepy, right? And you're 4. And he has so much personality and so much character, and it just comes from me making sure he was not pacified. You know, he's a mama's boy through and through. He loves his mama, and he loves to be under me. But in the same token, I can put him in any room, and he's going to stand out. Right. Not because he's a bad kid, not because his behavior, but because of the fact that he is so intelligent to only be 4 years old.
Facts. Yeah. You seen the video I just posted the other day? My daughter went back to she's in 2nd grade. She's bumped up a grade. You know what I mean? Because the teacher flat out told me at a Montessori school, she's like, there's no reason for her being here because I be asking questions and
she's excelling.
She got them. So she go back to the school where she was before, but it's a new school again because she hadn't been there for a year. So when she go in, it's just like brand new. Walk to the front, I'm videoing. I was like, what are you doing in front dancing? You showing? She in the front of the whole class dancing. I say, because they warm up in the morning and get their dance. She was like, I'm good. They watching me. But that's her personality. You know what I mean? And I was like, what you mean? She's like, I'm going to teach them. A girl was crying. And I was like, why is she crying? Because she couldn't ring the doorbell in the front. I was like, so what you going to do? I'm going to hold her hand and we're going to go play like we're ringing the doorbell. And then when she stopped crying, we can have our regular class. But I'm looking at her like, you know what I mean? It amazes me because, this is stuff that my mom and dad used to say about me. It was like kind of like, man, you were kind of ahead of your time. So I'm looking at her like that. And it's like, so advanced to where I'm like, well, damn, like I really have to start paying attention more and saying more and doing more, because that advancement can lead to negativity as well if you don't put it on the path of righteousness.
Making naughty games.
And that's kind of exactly. That's kind of where I be at. I be like, man, you know, and they get on me a lot. They used to get on her mom a lot. They used to be like, why are you talking to her like that when she was 1? Her aunt used to be like, you talking to her like she's 15. She's like, and I'm going to talk to her like she's 15. She's like, because at the end of the day, she's going to understand everything that I'm saying. Like as of now, being at 6, I mean, she knows how to properly do everything. When I mean bathe, when I mean brush her teeth, when I mean anything that there is, she knows how to properly do it. Like when it comes to clothes and shoes, she'd be like, Daddy, what you say? Like if it get a scuff on it now, clean it now, because later it won't remove. I was like, exactly. So there's little things that they pick up. And that's stuff that I was taught from my dad. My dad a Marine. So he used to be like, hey, man, you don't leave her half-assed. You don't ever let somebody think that they got a leg up on you. Even if you don't know it, pretend that you do a little bit and then go research it and come back with something more. So you figure that stuff out as you go, and that's what I try to feed into mine. You know what I mean? I'm going to forever feed it into them like, man, you can always be better than what they say you can be. If they say you a B, now show them you an A. If they say you're A, show them you're A+. You know what I mean? If they say you're A+, say you're A++. But it's just the way that you present it to them. You know what I mean? It wasn't presented to us. I'm not saying just us. I'm talking about in general. It wasn't presented to a lot of us in that fashion. A lot of people were just like, man, make sure you're doing something. You know what I mean? But you got to figure it out as you go, but you got to be better than the next.
And then we know we're smart, too. I mean, in general.
Yeah.
So if we know, if I stand out, I'm going to have to do more work. Let me play dumb.
Exactly.
Like, that's where Coonan come from, because we're so intelligent that we realize it's a lot easier if I just act stupid.
Man.
Just act like I ain't
Then
know.
they won't call
I'm not
on
going
me.
to do it because I can just act like I didn't know.
Man.
And how many times do we get away with it? And that same thing, when we do as adults, our kids watch that. And so when they go to school, they're mimicking what we do as adults.
Yep.
So they're going to school acting dumber than they are. That's why when you said a teacher pulled you, they talked to you on the side, man, I know what you're doing.
Man, all the way from the
I
third
seen that
grade.
game. I know what you're doing. Stop doing it.
From the third grade. My dad used to drive the bus in Middle Odessa. And he would, like, my dad was like me. He knew everybody. You know what I mean? And when I say, like, some of his friends he played dominoes with or whatever, their sisters or whatever was teachers. And let me try to act up at school. He'd be like, oh, yeah? Let me call your old man, because I know he on this bus ride. He'll swing. I'll be like, nah, Miss Barbara Smith, don't do that. But they know. You know what I mean? When it come down to it, rest her soul. She's, you know, gone for now. But Miss Barbara Smith used to pull me to the side and would tell me just like that. I'm sure she wouldn't pull another kid and say that, but she would pull me to the side and look me in my face like I'm looking at you right now, Paul, and say, hey, you bullshitting. She's like, I know you know it. She's like, and the bad thing is, if you don't get it right, I'm going to get on your ass, and then I'm going to call your daddy, and he going to get on your ass. Yeah, you don't want that. So stop the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I know you know, but you're playing like you don't know, because last week you was all over doing yada, yada, yada. But you're trying to show off for these friends. She's like, you showing off for people that don't matter. People that when you succeed and make it, they probably won't. But you're showing off for them trying to fit into a certain realm. For what? And I had to realize, like, I've never smoked anything a day in life. Weed, cigarette, black and mild, nothing. I drink like 2 fish. But at the end of the day,
like,
I've
2
never
fish.
smoked anything a day in life. But that came from being a strong-minded individual, from my dad or peers that were around that taught me stuff. I had friends who'd be like, peer pressure. To who, nigga? Not to me.
Yeah.
I'm me. I don't need you to be like, what does your peer pressure do for me? You know what I mean? But that's why, even touching back into the election and everything that you were talking about, you have to be your own person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to stand up on your own, too. Can't nobody come tell me, hey, vote for Barack. Why? You know what I mean? I want to know what Barack
Give me a
do.
full
You know what I mean? Because he might
explanation.
have some negative stuff that I don't like.
Please.
I got to figure that out. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't do research on their own or figure out stuff on their own. If you tell them it's blue, they'll say, yeah, that shit blue. Shit, it might be Navy. You know what I mean?
We got to start treating the politicians the way we want people to treat our kids, too.
Exactly.
Bingo.
You come in there and you acting dumb. Oh, I can't do this because, okay, well, you know that's there. You said you could do something different. You knew it was, you should have studied before you got here. So you're in this position. You knew who was in office already. You knew you follow the charts. You know better than me. You knew what you were going to be. Your opposition was, and you wanted the job. Go fix it.
Go fix
Go
it.
fix it.
Yeah, you right
Straight
about
up.
that.
Figure it
Well-
out.
Well, Jelly, why you touching on this with politics coming up real soon, the election, voting? What are you going to tell your viewers right now that's watching you? What do you want to say?
I just want to say that because we are the millennials does not mean our vote doesn't matter. It does not mean that our voice doesn't matter. It does not mean that you are just a child and your opinion is shit. You know, do your research, know who you're voting for, actually get out there and vote, because that's the only way we can make a change, you know, for our community. where you grow up. That should be dear to you. That should be, that's your home. You should want to walk around and see developments being made, but still affordable. You need to make sure people aren't raising the property taxes where you live in your grandmother's house. Because guess what, sweetheart? While they're rebuilding and they're refurbishing, your grandmother's going to be put out because she can no longer afford to pay those property taxes. Yes, she owns that home, but she doesn't own that land.
Amen.
Be smarter, and I don't know, I guess get educated.
You heard it here first from Jelly, ears to the streets. He's telling y'all to get educated, get up. Don't just go vote. Know who you voting for. We'll be right back. Commercial break. This is Talk Back to Me podcast, and we're up next with the lovely Brittany Hardiman. All right, y'all, and we back yet again. Talk Back to Me podcast. Hey, make sure you check out this week's sponsor, the Houston Collective, for all your smoke shop and accessory needs. We got a special guest in the building right now. She's a mother, entrepreneur, and business owner. Here we go. The owner of Core94 herself. Give it up for Brittany Hardiman.
Thank you. So as mentioned, I am Brittany Hardiman, Brit the Brain on everything. I'm the owner of the Core94. We are an internet radio station and podcast hosting solution based right here out of Houston.
That is beautiful right there. So let me ask you a quick question. How did you get into internet streaming radio? How did you get into the business?
I really fell into it. I started off as an artist manager, and then I went to Street 93.3. It's another internet radio station based out of Houston, and I met Faya. And I saw her, and I saw what she was doing. I was like, man, I want to try that. And then I went from there to GMT, and then next thing you know, we kind of landed into the Core94.
Shout out GMT.
All
Shout out
right.
to GMT.
Hey, all right. What you
My
got,
dudes
Jeff?
over there.
So they've said that, well, it's not even they've said. I see from, doing our research that you're a serial entrepreneur and you wear so many different hats. So my question to you is, where do you feel that entrepreneurial spirit comes from, for you?
I think it comes just from me being bored. Like, I don't watch TV.
It's just like me being bored. I'm sorry.
I don't watch TV. I club when it's related to the station. Outside of that, I'm not going out for the most part. My idea of fun is working. And for me to have fun, I'm doing a graphic. I'm doing a website. If I'm sitting there with nothing to do, I am annoyed. I'm irritated. You don't like the person I am.
Do something.
Yeah. So.
Quick.
So being that, you get bored pretty easily, what's next for you and your brand?
Well, as far as the station goes, our next move is, I think we have the name in the city. A lot of people have heard from the Core94. When you talk to people who are major as far as music or business, 9 times out of 10, they've been here or they know someone who has been here. I think our next big stamp is just showing that we're professional as far as the image, and when you come here, just kind of putting the respect on our name.
Yes, put some respect on my name.
Shit, say that like you mean it. That's what I'm talking about.
Put some
Say
stank
it
on
like you mean it. Hell.
People think black owned means mediocre. Hell no. We're the top of the tier. This is where all your ideas come from.
Right.
So we should benefit from it the most. So thank you, for the platform and for being who you are. People don't get their flowers while they're here. So thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate y'all, taking a chance and coming here, because there are other solutions. There are people who have more behind them financially, but I bet you they ain't gonna love y'all more than I will.
It's not, it's not personal.
Right.
Yeah, people aren't personable. They don't care to compromise. They don't care to work around things. It takes a real person who's been in situations, who's also a business owner, to set the bar. So.
Right.
That's what's up.
That's beautiful.
Shout out to
What
Brittany.
you got?
What I'm saying?
I mean, my question for you was just simple. Like, first and foremost, shout out to her for bringing our own personalized Fusion wireless speakers. They Bluetooth, by the way, man.
Those are dope.
You know what I'm
You
saying? They
did.
dope. They colorful and shit. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. We didn't had, one host and probably plenty more, but you come out and you bring in gifts and shit. That's what I'm talking about.
You want me to tell you where that comes from?
Where that come from?
I've never done it before. My little sister got involved with the station, and she was like, even when you're doing this, be hospitable. And so I'm like, well, we want our guests to treat us like that. So if I'm coming on my show, let me do better and show what a guest's supposed to do. So next time when your guests watch this footage, I got to bring a gift.
Yeah.
And that's normally how it rolled. If
That's
you watch a lot, I
beautiful.
mean, shout out little sister. You know what I mean? Little sister done brought us drinks, all kind of stuff. Hey, that's we love that. But my question for you was it or is it hard being a woman in internet radio, respect wise?
Whew.
I'm going to say no, it's not any more hard. I mean, I'm saying it wrong, but it's not. It's about the same as it is being a woman in any industry. Let me say that. I will say, I think as far as the internet radio in Houston goes, like I said, we had Fire doing it before. She kind of paved the way.
Yeah.
So people were used to women owning internet radio stations if they knew about it.
Okay.
I think the bigger fight is getting people to understand what internet radio is, or stopping this idea they had that you're in somebody's basement if you're doing it. Like, no, we have a real building. We have to pay rent just like everybody else. And I think that's more difficult than being a woman in it.
Okay. And shout out to Fire, man. That's one of my people too. You know, like we were talking about with, you know, GMT. It's crazy how you can meet somebody later on in life and all the people that you know, they know, and it all kind of tie into one.
Houston is
And
real small.
Exactly. And I mean, outside of exactly.
Like I went to City Gear and she was always in my store, so it's crazy.
No, she good
Shoes and
people, though.
backpacks.
I mean, she's good people. And outside of that, like, I mean, like Jelly already asked you kind of like, what's next? Like, what do you see? I don't want to say as an end goal, but what is your ultimate goal in this?
Man,
Like,
I always say I'm going to be Slim Thug mixed with Oprah. So
oh, love, baby.
That sauce.
I mean, we have a network. And it's growing even outside. You guys are making it grow.
Appreciate
Like,
it.
you know, it's not even about my
appreciate
vision.
that.
It's just like, okay, how can I accommodate all the brilliant minds that are coming through here?
Yeah.
Oh, they want to do video. It's the next wave. How do we fix this to where their video looks good? And sort of catering to the clients that you have, I believe that builds you up for the clients that need to come later.
Definitely.
And I like that. I mean, because when I look at it at the end of the day, like we were talking about black business earlier, but how do we succeed as black businesses? By piggybacking off each other, right? You know what I mean? Like, what you good at, I might not be great at. What I'm good at, you might not be great at. So we figure it out and help each other. And once we figure out and help each other, man, just the opportunity that you given, you know what I mean? And then with even us coming in and what we're doing, like, that's the kind of stuff that I think you're supposed to ride with from the beginning and continue to ride with it. So many people will jump into that situation and then just be like, oh, okay, I'm good with that. Now I'm going somewhere else. Now we're going to ride it out, man. I like that. That's a good look, man. I mean, and again, appreciate you for this because I'm finna go bump it as soon as I leave.
I know that's
It's a
right.
wireless speaker, you know what I'm
Trying
saying?
to make
all in the
another
shower
baby
and
with
things,
that
you hear me?
one. Shoot, colorful and everything.
Wait
I
a
like
minute.
that.
How
you
we
know?
get the baby making?
Hey, you can put it right by the bed. You ain't got to move. Cut the phone on. It's already
There you
on.
go.
Look, she talking about it, but she going to be the main one with it right by the
Exactly.
bed. As soon as it come on.
Man, mind your business. I'm gonna have it.
She say,
I'm gonna be in the restroom with my candles lit, with the lights off, and my little speaker over there.
boo-booing like a motherfucker. Speak on. You hear me?
I'm gonna be taking a bubble bath.
Well, don't
Okay?
get it in. That's
With
what I'm
my
talking
speaker
about.
sitting over there lighting up, you know, the whole ambiance.
With that
is going
DM
down.
saying,
Don't worry about
can I join?
Can I, you hear me?
Most definitely.
it.
What that be like?
So I got a question for you. So let me ask you something. With all the competition around, you know, you got radio stations that's been doing it a long time. You got internet radio stations. What sets you apart? I know you were speaking on it earlier as far as you're more into it, you're more family. You treat it as a family. You treat everyone here as a family. What sets you apart other than that from the others that's out doing what you're doing right now?
I think I kind of encourage people to be themselves. Like, I don't ask people to come in and change for me or change because you're on the station. I think that because we're in a position where we're trying to get regular people to pay attention to us, everyday people, when you come in and you be yourself, like, you know, man, I got drunk last night. Everybody who got drunk, me too. You know, come in and be yourself. And then with that, just show I can be myself, but I'm still going to be professional. I'm still going to advertise my clients. I'm still going to grow with it. So
That's
I think
right. That's right. Well, you heard it here. Up next, interview with Brittany Hardiman. Make sure y'all check her out on Instagram, y'all. It's Brit the Brain and at Core94. We'll be right back with final takes. We are Talk Back to Me podcast. All right, and we back again, dropping bombs, gems, and everything else you need to get your life going. Here we are with final takes. We're going to start off with Brittany, what you got for us with your final take on the episode for today?
Just never stop growing. That's it.
Jelly, what you got?
I would like to say.
That means she wanted that clear to understanding, okay?
I would just like to say that black representation matters. Always be open-minded and willing to think for yourself, be an individual, and do something for your community. Always. And that's it. Take it what we got.
Man, be confident. Challenge yourself for one. Don't be afraid of failing, because, you know, failing only brings success, right? So, and, you know, my ticket thoughts for the day, because I told you I don't tell you shit to the end of the show anyway, but my ticket thoughts, man, invest in you, water your brand, then harvest and watch the success. Once again, invest in you, water your brand, then harvest and watch the success. Because once you succeed, like I said, from failing to success, can't nobody tell you nothing. You know how it goes from then on out. You feel me? And we out.
All right. And that's Ticket with his ticket thoughts. Make sure you check him out. Wednesdays, he's dropping gems always, all the time. I am MC Ticket is that Instagram. Ticket Thoughts is the hashtag. My final take is simple. Support black business. Stop trying to be the cause behind your own transgressions and defeats. We can move as a people. We was talking about it earlier. When we move as one, we're unstoppable. But when we move segregated and separated, yeah, we can't get it done. That ain't it. Again, this is all of us here at Talk Back to Me podcast. You seen us. You seen the crew. Had our up next guest star. Make sure you check out again the Houston Collective for all your smoke shop and accessories. Controversial topics, inspirational views with the occasional tea. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Talk Back to Me podcast.
You dig it?